Hello, hello, and welcome back to Supernova. I'm I'm excited for this. I really am. I think it's been about 2 months since I last recorded, so it's exciting. I get to spend more time with Vince. Mensis is cute, but you know we're all in on Vince because he's the best. He's so cute, guys, and I'm legitimately still on board with learning more about Baron. Like, he's aggressive, but like it makes me want to get to know him. But of course, you know, it's yeah. So I technically this is the second recording. Cuz when I loaded the save, the art assets did not load correctly. So I had to go back a bit, and I went and checked to see if the art assets loaded in correctly. Like, this was for some reason in the middle, so you you know how it is. Um, okay, I do like how we get to see our boy now. We're a raccoon, right? Was that what it was? It's been a hot minute, guys. I'm sorry if I've forgotten anything, but I trust that, like, you'll all remind me in the comments, right? I feel a little awkward. Lucas tends to be quite open with his feelings, but he's never been this openly affectionate. I am, indeed, good. I grin as he slaps me on the back. Careful, asshole. I'm still sore. It's good to be back. If only for a moment, I can forget about the craziness behind and ahead of me. I sit down on my chair and turn to face Lucas. But, yeah, for real though, I was losing my mind before you texted me. I'm so touched. Lucas chucks a pillow at me. I catch it, laughing, but don't throw it back. Okay. I'm just happy we made we both made it out of there. Yeah. That was insane. Oh, you don't know the half of it. Not that I'd be explaining what actually happened, even if Unbound hadn't instructed me to keep quiet. I know how dumb that would be. What the hell was up with that hospital anyway? Not letting us visit and shit. I shrug and try to divert the topic. Us? Well, yeah, your parents too. I spoke a bunch with your mom. How did you even get her number? Jeez, Jess has it. Dummy, from last summer. Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that. I texted her, you're back. By the way, she should be over soon. I perk up at that. Jessica Wilder became part of our little power trio late into freshman year, and we've been almost separated since. You're looking good, all things considered. Thank you. I consider myself quite a handsome raccoon. Maybe handsome for a raccoon. Hey! Lucas isn't quite as swift to catch the throw pillow, and it smacks him in the muzzle. Before he can retaliate, there's a knock at the door, so I give him a smirk while he gets up to open it. Nick? Jess unceremoniously pushes Lucas out of the way and charges right at me. The chair almost tips over, threatening to send both of us to the floor as she throws herself onto my lap and gives me another rib-crushing hug. Are you two trying to kill me? Oh, shut up. I'm just happy to see you. She squeezes me before jumping nimbly off me. The lynx pauses and okay, to look me over with critical eye. With a critical eye, her face then splits into a grimace, into a grim one. You pushed me. Well, you were in my way. I was opening the door for you. Lucas continues to pout, rubbing his elbow in, and I burst out laughing. Oh, he's got a little fangy. Okay, he's cute. It's so good to see them again. How are you, Nick? I'm fine. Nothing broken, as you can see. She eyes me up and down, then nods, satisfied. Ugh, looks like it. Good. You kept us pretty worried for a bit there. And just plants herself on the couch. So then, have you two dummies learned from this experience? Don't help Lucas with projects he shouldn't complete a month ago. He should have completed a month ago. Look up at the sky every time you're out, just in case there are supervillains flying at you. Stay away from shitty, unfinished construction projects. Don't stay with Nick somewhere, just because he likes the view. Wow, Dick. Very good, very good. It seems we have internalized some valuable life lessons after all. It just puts on a mock voice, like she's lecturing a class of third graders. Indeed, ma'am. I'll be honest. At first, when Lucas told me of what happened, I thought it was pretty dumb. Some dumb prank. Yeah, it took a while to convince her. Trust me, it was very real. And as batshit crazy as it sounds. Lucas turns to me, nervous, suddenly serious. So, what happened after the stairs collapsed? You never told me. It's kind of all a blur, as I told you. Templar and that other one were fighting. Stuff was flying around. They kept smashing through walls and shit, and I had to keep running from one place to the next to keep myself hidden. I guess at some point I just got smacked in the head and it knocked me out. I woke up at the hospital. Lucas is wearing the same pained expression I saw in the condo that day. Fuck, dude. I should have found a way up there. Don't be stupid. You were right to get out while you could. I nod in agreement. Lucas is beating himself up over complete nonsense. There was nothing he could have done. He could have just gotten himself killed. The wolf let out a heavy sigh. Come on. You know you couldn't help me. Help me there in any way. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Just cuts in to change the topic. You ready for midterms? Yes, I got so much studying done. All right, don't get snippy. Did you at least ask for extensions? Yeah, I emailed all my professors while I was at the hospital. I got an extra week for my papers, and they rescheduled my Thursday exam for Friday. Wow, unfair. That one extension they gave me was my independent project, since, my footage is lost. Well, and Mensis asked me not to spread the word about what happened at the construction. Oh, I had forgotten about that. I glance over at Jess. Noticing this, Lucas starts to shake his head. Well, I had to tell Jess, dude. It's not like she'll tell anyone. Duh. I'm a little uneasy about this. Mensis is nice, but I doubt he'd like Lucas blabbering. Even to another close friend of mine. Speaking of... An all too familiar mischievous smirk is tugging at Lucas's muzzle. I think I could maybe turn up the volume a little bit. Let's get copyright claimed. It'll be fun. You were unconscious when Superfang carried you off in his strong, muscular arms. Oh my god, I wish I was conscious. Just snickers. Shit, Nick. That must be heartbreaking. My bemused expression seems to entertain them all the more. Ha! Look at the pro comedians over here. Oh, come on. You know you would have loved that, had you been awake. I flipped the bird at them, even though a part of me knows they're not entirely wrong. Vince is rather handsome. That doesn't mean, however, that I want him to bridal carry me anywhere. Even if he does have those strong, muscular arms Lucas mentioned. Fuck, where the hell am I going with this? Focus, damn it! Yeah, and what about you? Enjoying getting a close look at Mensis? You know what? Not half bad. Shorter than I expected. But that... excuse me. But what little I see under his cowl was cute. What did you even see? The tip of his nose? I think I spotted his whiskers peeking out too. Alright, boys, you can fawn over your saviors another time. What I want to find out is, do you know what happened to Templar? I blink. Templar? Templar is dead. And also, I'm Templar. I'm sure he's fine. He seemed to be winning the fight when I was knocked out. I try to sound casual, but I'm not convinced I pulled it off. Well, the other dude flew off a couple minutes before Superfang got here. For all we know, he might have, finished the job and left. I feel my breathing grow faster as I shake my head. I think Templar just drove him off before his teammates arrived. Hope so. Besides, the supervillain wouldn't have left you alive, right? Right. I hate lying to them like this. Shit, this is harder than I thought it'd be. Fortunately, the conversation shifts to something else again, and I can let Lucas and Jess chatter while I think. After half an hour or so, Jess excuses herself, telling us she needs to study and reminding me to do the same. I smile and wave at the Lynx as she leaves. Okay, so I assume in a later build, she'll be implemented. You still owe me dinner, by the way. The wolf lets out a rumbling laugh. After all the time I spent reassuring your parents? You know what? Fair. We'll call it even. The rest of the day is uneventful. I catch up on some work now that I have access to my laptop. It's a little strange to be back in my dorm room, worrying about papers and exams, when just this morning I was in a secret base with an actual superhero team. The school stuff still seems rather distant right now, and my thoughts inevitably turn to Templar's funeral. The Baron wasn't wrong. I don't know anything about the badger who wore his bracelet before me. Nothing about his life, who he was, what he was like. Yet, he entrusted me with his powers, his armor. This is just an opportunity for me to honor him in my own small way. I should have asked Vince about him while we were driving, instead of reminiscing about high school stuff. I suppose I could ask him tomorrow when he picks me up. Eventually, I wander over to the showers. When I return, Lucas gives me a curious glance. What's that? He's pointing at the bracelet. Shit, I keep forgetting this. I keep forgetting it's there. I wish it had even a tiny bit of weight to it. It's a gift from a friend. The wolf frowns. No, when did you get it? At the hospital. I realize my answer was dumb before Lucas even asks the next question. Huh? I thought it was no visitors allowed. Didn't visit me. He works there. Someone I knew in high school. I can tell by the way the wolf's ears are moving around that I'm doing a piss-poor job of this story. Good friend? Kinda. He looks at the bracelet, then back at me. Is there a point to this? Oh, sorry. I was just curious. It's just a cheap bracelet, Lucas. Anyway, night. Okay, good night. With a nod, I head into my room to get dressed. I'm feeling pretty, irritated, although I'm not sure if it's, directed at him or myself. A little bit of both, maybe. By the time I'm back in the common room, Lucas has his headphones on, so I just do some light reading. Before I go to bed, I inform him that I'll be out tomorrow. I don't lie about my purpose. Although I don't mention whose funeral it really is. Okay. Lucas leaves early for an exam, while I spend the morning making myself, presentable. My head fur is being stubborn, so I spend a while trying to get it into proper shape. I put on my suit and tie, and then just wait for Vince. About half an hour later, I get the message that he's almost here, so I head out. Morning, Nick. I don't remember what voice I did for Vince. God damn it. I think I had like him and Lucas with very similar voices, but I don't know. I'll have to feel it out again, I guess. Vince is dressed for the occasion as well, his oversized biceps and shoulders bulging through the navy fabric of his suit as he grips the steering wheel. Morning. I hesitate, unsure if I should ride shotgun or leave the seat open for Mensis. In the end, I decide to just get in the front seat. Vince gives me a questioning glance, but doesn't say anything otherwise. How are you feeling?
Good. I mean, well, you know.
Yeah, I think I do. I discover that Mensis lives about 5 blocks down from Grifton. He's waiting for us in front of an old-fashioned, but decent-looking apartment building. The fox looks a little awkward, his shoulders hunched and paws in his pants pocket. He brightens up a little when the car comes to stop at the curb. Hey, you two. The next 2 minutes, we drive in silence. I'm told the cemetery is about an hour away, just outside the southern suburbs. Mensis seems content to just gaze out the window, and Vince is focused on the road. I fidget with the buttons on my suit. Ah, okay. It's cute. So, I've been meaning to ask something.
Yeah?
What was Templar like? You know, as a person. Vince gives me a sideways glance.
He was a hero. Through and through. The folks loved him for a reason, you know. He was brave and strong, and he loved people. He loved helping people. Always did what he did with a wide grin.
He paused and laughed.
I guess you wouldn't be able to tell, with that helmet and all. But trust me, he loved doing what he did. Saving people, helping, all of it.
I guess that's kind of the image of Templar I had in my head. Even if it seems a little, I don't know, boring. I turn my head to look at Frank, but he doesn't meet my eyes, instead gazing out the window. His voice is tinged with melancholy. He had this, a sense of conviction with whatever he did. Like he always knew who he was and what he needed to do, no matter the situation. Rarely saw him hesitate, even when the circumstances were far from being black and white. Just dependable, solid. He let out a long sigh at the end. I sit in silence. That's a lot to live up to. Unbound said she doesn't expect me to. Well, more like she didn't think I can. It stings a little, but I guess it's up to me to try. I'm far from the steadfast, brave, heroic figure that Superfang and Mensis are describing. That Templar is dead. I'm just a shabby substitute. But I do intend to try. I feel Mensis' paw on my shoulder. You'll be fine, Nick. Thanks, for Frank? Saying his name feels more awkward than when I did it with Superfang. Don't think he minds, though.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding cliche, you just don't know how awesome you are yet.
He gives me his signature thumbs up, electing a chuckle from me. Guess I'll have to trust you on that one.
Good.
Oh, another thing. Yeah? Well, I still don't know what the Baron looks like. Under the helmet, I mean. I'll point him out to you. Oh, do we get to see him? You don't have to talk with him today if you don't want to. No, it's fine. I think back to how many times I've seen Mensis and Baron clash in the short time I've seen them. Do you guys, like, not get along? Vince gives me a nervous glance. We're fine, mostly. He has just been a little insufferable since, you know. I don't know why, but I feel a pang of guilt in my chest, even though I know this isn't my fault. Again, don't worry about him. He'll chill out soon enough. Looking forward to it.
You're a good person.
Oh, he's a good person. Okay, whoops. I never said he wasn't.
But...
Come on, Fang. Yes, he is a good person. A good person who's sometimes a complete ass. Vince's expression falls, but he doesn't argue back. After that, Vince and I chat a little more about Templar. Mensis is still lost in his own thoughts. I learned that Templar's real name was Michael O'Connor, and that he was an owner of a regular pub in the city. A remarkable, unremarkable occupation for someone like him to have. Not that I know him well enough to make that judgment. It's just that famous superheroes who moonlight as a bartender seemed a little incongruous. By then, we're in the flat suburbs south of Nova City. Not run down, but a stark contrast to the lavish Magnolia Hills. Small squat houses line the narrow roads as we weave through. Something occurs to me when we turn onto the street leading up to the cemetery. Did Templar's family know about the superhero stuff?
Oh, yeah, they all did.
I don't think Shauna does, actually. That's Michael's younger daughter. Frank clarifies for my benefit.
Really? Well, Sarah and Danny knew for sure. Danny was training to be the next Templar.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. So that's Templar's son. Do they know about me? Yes, the Baron told them. Fuck. That's going to be awkward. Should I even talk to either of them? It seems kind of disrespectful if I didn't. Then again, would they want to talk to me? I grew more nervous as we approached our destination. Several cars are parked outside the walled entrance to the cemetery. Vince stops his, and we shuffle out onto the sidewalk. I don't spot any people. I guess everyone's already in there. The air is crisp for this time of year, even as the sun shines overhead. As Vince goes around us, ahead of us, I notice Frank lingering, struggling with his tie, the knot having loosened sometime during our ride. Want some help? Sure. He looks awkwardly to the side while I fiddle with his tie. Dad is a stickler for proper dress, so I could do this with my eyes closed. There, all good. Sorry about that. Thanks, Nick. I give him a quizzical look. No worries. Frank looks at his watch. We're a bit late. Let's go. Vince is waiting for us just inside the metal gates. The cemetery is well maintained, a polished stone and marble all around. As good a resting place as any. Spotting the small group that has gathered for Templar's funeral is easy with gathered for Templar's funeral is easy, with nothing but low gravestones blocking line of sight. I take note of the family of badgers at once. The middle-aged female must be Sarah, which makes the tall and broad male Danny, and the young girl Shannon. Did I say that right before? Shannon? On the approach, Frank nudges me and points to a tall albino rat standing next to the window, rubbing her back with slow circular motions. So that's the Baron in black. What? Okay. So that's the Baron in black. Unbound stands towards the back. It's the first time I've seen her without her mask, but since I knew what to look for, recognizing her is easy enough. The three of us move to join her. The bear acknowledges our arrival with a nod. The priest, a short mouse, is reading from the scripture. I stand a bit to the side, letting the teammates mourn without me intruding. I feel out of place enough as it is. Besides, the 4 sentinels, I don't know a single person here. I hate the thought that I was the last person who saw Templar, Mr. O'Connor, alive. Not his family, not his friends, not even his superhero teammates, but a random raccoon who just happened to be chilling in an abandoned condo in the hills. I couldn't even help him in the fight that killed him. And even then, he gave me his most valuable possession. Staring at the casket that has yet to be lowered into the ground, I couldn't help but wonder if Templar, whoever he is now, regrets his last act. I guess it's up to me to make sure that he won't. The priest finishes, and Danny steps forward to deliver the eulogy. The badger is stone-faced. I imagine he is trying his hardest to put on a stoic appearance. According to Vince, he turned 18 some months ago, and he's still a senior in high school. I can't imagine how hard this must be on him. Still, his voice doesn't crack once as he speaks of his father. I'm starting to hear Vince sniffle next to me. He looked mortified as he tries to discreetly wipe his tears with his sleeve. Tries, because his size makes it rather hard to be discreet. Not that anyone is looking at him besides me. Maybe he'd appreciate a small gesture of comfort. Knitting my brows, I take a quick step to the side and nudge his elbow. He flinches as he jolts and turns his face towards me. He frowns, then nods, pulls his arm back. Guess he'd rather be left alone. I return to my previous spot, feeling even more awkward than before. I try to focus on the young badger's words, but I can't stop staring at the hole in the ground. My mind is blank, a faint buzzing in my ears. I only looked away when I realized Danny had finished delivering his eulogy. His younger sister is crying into her sleeves, with the Baron standing over her, paws on her shoulders. I took a quick look at Mensis and Unbound. The fox is just staring at the ground, paws in his pockets again, jaw tight. Unbound looks more composed, although there is obvious sorrow in her expression. Vince seems to be recovering and is now observing the proceedings calmly, but his tense and uncomfortable posture gives his true mood away. They begin lowering the casket. I hang back as the rest of the small crowd gets closer. Rest in peace, Templar. I don't know why you picked me for the job, and I'm going to do my best. I made up my mind about that already. They start covering the grave in dirt, and several of the attendees start wandering away, while others exchange brief words with Templar's family. The Sentinels are all there now, too, with the Badgers. Vince gives all three a hug, his form trembling as he does so. I'm glad Templar's family has people like them around. The Baron hasn't left their side for even a moment. Again, I feel out of place. I think about just following some of the others to the gate, where I'll just wait for Vince and Frank. My plans are interrupted when I see the Baron is beckoning me with his paw while the O'Connors stare at me. No shit. I freeze, unsure what to do. I'm very much not prepared for this. I should have left sooner. What the hell was I thinking? It's not like I can just ignore this now. So I walk over, slow and awkward, feeling anxiety taking over. I hear Vince speak to the girl.
Hey, Shannon, why don't we take a short walk together? I saw something cool the other day I wanted to tell you about.
She nods dejectedly, and the two take their leave. The Baron adjusts his glasses and, at last, introduces me. Ah, okay.
Sarah, Daniel, this is Nick,
Saunders?
Saunders.
I am very sorry for your loss. Sarah and her son regards me silently for several tense seconds. Then, to my surprise, the former gives me a slight smile. Thank you so much for coming, Nick. That was very nice of you. Michael would have appreciated it.
Yes, of course, ma'am.
I must be looking very dim right now, being so tongue-tied. The Baron opens his mouth as if he intends to speak, but seems to reconsider. His expression is neutral, but I can still feel the weight of his gaze on me. It's as if he's telling me to not fuck this up. Oh, okay. Danny suddenly speaks up. Oh, she looks nice. Danny suddenly speaks up, his voice low, almost a growl.
Show it to me.
Daniel.
The bracelet.
I grit my teeth. I tell Sarah to, I can tell Sarah is about to say something again, but I decide I should do this. Fumbling to roll up my sleeve, I reveal the reddish band on my wrist. Huh. This is the first time I'm seeing it out in the sun, and it looks much more vibrant in this light. It had the dull color while I was indoors. Now, not so much. There's a brief moment of silence. Then Danny's muzzle contorts into an expression of rage.
That's not yours! Take it off right now!
He takes a step back, and despite my... Oh, yeah, he takes a step towards me, and that's it. And despite myself, I cringe away. The Badger may be a couple years younger, but his height and physique are imposing. Daniel, stop right this second. The tall Badger rounds his mother.
It's mine, and he has no right to it. How can you...
Tim, dear, would you please escort Daniel back to the car? I'd like a moment with Nick. The Baron nods, putting a paw on Danny's shoulder and pushing him to the path leading to the gates.
Come on, kiddo.
I don't know what voice to give Baron. Now that I see his face, I'm like, oh, I gave him like a squeakier voice before, right? But, I don't, it's hard. I'm still learning what voices I want to give these characters, guys. Give me like 20 parts at the very least. Like, despite his continuing protest, Daniel is led away. Frank, who stood at my side during the entire exchange, follows them, so does Unbound. I'm left alone with Templar's wife. I shuffle from one foot to the other. I'm very sorry, Miss O'Connor. Your son is right. Sarah frowns for a moment before smiling warmly at me. You are not the one who should be apologizing, dear. I'm sure Daniel is just upset. I don't mean him, although my son owes you an apology for his behavior just now. I blink at her, not quite following what she's saying. Her smile fades, and she sighs with obvious exhaustion. You should have never been put into this situation in the first place. I'm so sorry that this is happening to you. I open my mouth, then realize I don't know what to say and close it. I didn't expect this at all. I thought she'd be as angry as Danny, rightfully so. Would you mind walking with me a little? Yes, ma'am, of course. We wander down the paved path between the rows of graves, scattered in the grass. As Sarah goes in the opposite direction from the gate, I'm reluctant to follow. With the chill, I feel stuffy and suffocated in my suit. A bird, maybe a crow, makes a noise somewhere nearby, hiding between the gravestones perhaps. Birds exist! Can you tell me what you saw that day? I skid to a stop. For a moment, I consider telling her that I'd much rather not. But I see a plea in her eyes that I can't just refuse. So I do as she asks. I tell her what happened, never going into the details of the fight. How brutal it was, how vicious that wolf attacked her husband. The blows that shattered his armor and rained down on his exposed flesh. She doesn't need to hear any of that. I'll just let it flash in front of my eyes while I stare at my feet the whole time I'm talking. When I look up, her eyes are full of tears. I'm sorry, Miss O'Connor. I didn't mean to upset you. She shakes her head. No, everything is all right. Thank you, Nick. I'm sorry. She wipes her eyes with the handkerchief I offer, letting out another sigh. It's so strange to see that bracelet on someone else. She stares off into the distance somewhere, but not for long, as she snaps her gaze back to me. This is all incredibly unfair on you. I can't help but feel angry at myself and Michael. How do you mean? Why would you be angry? Because he did this to you. You shouldn't. Miss O'Connor, he was a hero. I know, and I'll always be proud of who he was. Which doesn't change the fact that he had no right to inflict this burden on you. It was my decision to keep the bracelet. She nods. You are very brave. Not really. No, Nick, I mean it. After what you saw. Oh, Michael, I'd smack you if you were standing right here. Please don't say that, Miss O'Connor. I'm sure he did what he did for a reason. Yes, I think so too. I suspect I know why. We had been talking lately. I was so anxious about having Danny inherit his power. He disagreed, of course, but maybe not as much as I thought. It's such a dangerous thing, and when he met you, someone the bracelet would accept. My heart sinks. What is she saying? That Templar gave me the bracelet so his son wouldn't have to put himself into danger? Because Miss O'Connor was worried about what it would mean for their son. No, that's... Sarah must have noticed how much her words have unsettled me, because she puts a paw on my elbow. I flinched. I'm sorry, Nick. If it's because of what I said to Michael, he shouldn't have done this, even if part of me is relieved. Because Daniel won't have to put himself in danger? She nods, her eyes brimming with tears again. I feel a little numb. I understand. Even so, I won't blame you if you... No. No, Miss O'Connor. I already decided. Even if what you said is true, I'm not going to change my mind. I can't ask you to do that. It's so selfish and unfair. Danny has been training for this. My husband did a lot to prepare for him. To then turn around and foist? okay. It upon an innocent bystander. It's alright, I understand. Really, don't worry about it. She sniffs into the handkerchief, giving me a long, searching look. I meet her eyes this time. Thank you. Don't mention it. We turn around and head back, silent for a moment. As we approach the gate, I spot the Baron's white fur peeking over the stone wall surrounding the cemetery. Damn, he's tall. Sarah taps me on the shoulder. Actually, I think I'm going to end the part here. That sounds good. We're at the 40-minute mark, so I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope you all have played Supernova. It's good, and if you haven't, try it. Link in the description if you think this is nice. I quite like this game, so I'll see you all around.